Might be good to go today with no issues.
Okay. Well, we can look at our problem, see if we can do the
Did you see that? Are you gonna play our music?
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
Hamas NBA All-Star Team or NBA Hall of Fame class announced. And which animal could you beat up? All that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
None of that is on there.
No, well, they all know it's on there.
Dun, 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 dun. I put this on Twitter.
Rule number 1, no touching of the hair or face.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you today?
Oh, just a little verklempt.
Why?
We're just not quite where we.
No, we are.
I'll be honest. I'm dreading tomorrow. Very excited about tomorrow. I'm going to have some scouts come in, Boy Scouts that are working on merit badges, and they want to talk about media. But I'm sincere when I tell you that with you not being here, I don't know what I'm going to tell them. Hey, there's some knobs over here. You guys want to look at it?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
What am I, right?
Teach them. They're going to all leave here without their badges.
What am I going to tell them about media? But they're going to be here. I don't know who my guest host is going to be yet. Usually, when word leaks out that you're going to be gone, I start getting calls, requests, texts. I think now I've alienated everybody. Yeah. No. Who can I be the sub? Can I come? Now I think I've alienated everybody.
It's a possibility.
I talked to a good friend this week and said that a guy came up to him and said, "Aren't you friends with that Carter guy?" And he admitted being such. The guy said, "Guy's the most opinionated guy I've ever seen. But I agree with everything he says every morning." And I said, "Well, there you go. That's me preaching to the masses."
Wouldn't be much of an opinion show if you didn't have one.
Donnie says we have no Facebook.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll do this.
It is live right here, brother. Live.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the fine folks at Deerlam Feed. For all you need, Deerlam has all your feed and ag and pet and mosquito products and everything. Stop by Deerlam Feed Store. 50 some odd years.
Low 70s in Victoria, heading to a high today in the 80s, going to be cloudy, chance of rain. Is that close?
That's it? Yeah, that's pretty close.
Can you see if we have Facebook?
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
Dawn says we don't have Facebook. I'm sitting here looking at, it says live.
I bet you it's on your page.
It is not. It is on the Wade and Carter page. I loaded it on the Wade and Carter page, and that's where it is.
It's not.
You always want to bring this crash back to pilot error, and in this case, it is not. I can stop it and start it. I mean,
it's not up.
Quicker than you can find it.
I don't know. It's not up.
All right, I'm just going to stop this, and I'm going to
make sure
publish it. Maybe there. I mean, there it is, right there.
Yeah, no. I see
no. All right, so publish. I'm just going to live video, turning this.
We're going to have to figure this out.
I dislike it. I dislike it greatly. It should be coming up right now on the exact same page it was on. See if it's there. Maybe if you wait too long to turn it on, it doesn't. I despise technical difficulties. I think it's a disservice to our listeners.
I agree.
But
now it's there.
Okay. Same exact location, same thing.
Yep. Weird, wild stuff.
So it's pesky Chinese.
Must be, because they've landed on Mars now.
And what is that? I mean, why didn't we just work together and go there for half the money? I don't understand that.
To be honest, we couldn't trust them.
They're there now. And what are they going to accomplish there? And can anybody tell me anything dumber than the fact that two countries over here that can't feed their people and house their homeless are sending craft to Mars? And if you found something there, what would you do with it? You can't bring it back here. Are you going to colonize Mars? If that's the answer, then load up 100 people and send them and see what happens. Yeah. It's the dumbest thing ever. Why are we on Mars?
Why are we trying to colonize Mars? I've never understood. Maybe some science. What is the point of trying to, and even this is one thing I disagreed with.
Why
President
would you leave
Trump.
this lush, beautiful island in the outer space to go to a desolate red dust bowl thinking you're going to find something to help this country?
I have no idea. And I was a critic of this with Donald Trump and trying to get to Mars. It makes no sense to me.
Well, what they're trying to do it's pure to me. It's political. It's
elitist because who's going to end up being on Mars, right?
Only the people that
can afford it.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. What they're trying to do is channel their inner John F. Kennedy. We choose to go to the moon because it's hard. We're going because it's hard. Because we're America. We're champions. So they're trying to come off like JFK. And they're channeling that inner John F. Kennedy that makes them feel powerful, or that somehow that reflects. I think, wouldn't it honestly be something if the United States economy allowed us to provide literally free health care to all our people, and there were no homeless, and our mental health patients got the care they needed? Maybe if we weren't pumping money into every despot's pockets and studying gender in Pakistan and paying people not to work, maybe we could get there.
And sending rovers to Mars.
But sending rovers to Mars is not helping us get there.
What I find interesting is 85% of the people in this country live where the climate is somewhat habitable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. The rest live in Ethiopia.
Didn't know Ethiopia was part of this country. But you've got people that want to live on Mars.
I'm watching breaking news. There's an ambulance. It's turning over here.
Yeah, that's breaking news. Huh. This isn't Fox News LA on a slow day doing a car chase.
We used to call that a modulance. Do you remember that? A modulance.
No, I don't remember that.
That's
It's
an
always been an
EMS.
ambulance. But I've never understood. We got people here that don't want to live when it gets cold. We cried for a week in February when we froze in Texas. Yep. And we're going to go live on a desolate rock that has very little atmosphere, if any. And the temperatures are way colder than anything Earth ever sees. I see no smoke. So
the ambulance went by, and it's always accompanied by some firemen because the firemen are all EMT. Emergency medical techs, and but they take a $500 a minute vehicle. Why don't they put those guys in like a Prius and let them follow the ambulance? Some of those guys, put them on bicycles and let them follow the ambulance. Everybody loves a fireman, and we've got some great ones. But I think that's kind of a silly deal. You'll look around and somebody's having a chest pain. There's an ambulance out front and a fire truck and 3 police cars and some drug sniffing dogs and maybe a SWAT team. People rappelling off the roof. It's just gas. Everybody go back to your station.
Angina.
$500,000 call to go check out a guy's heart. Do your roll call. It's a good-looking bunch.
Justin Glass is in this morning. Diane Tippett, Rena Scherer, good morning. Marvin Mickish, Lorena Bargenbrook, Judge Posey.
Hello, Judge.
Chris Conrad, Karen Webb, Patrick Strauss, checking in from Louisville, where we're huge.
Christina Wise back on the clock. Good to see it.
Richard King, Tracy Price, Ryan Hopping, Chris Ray Brissett, Jeff Finley, Matt Boucher, Kendra Douglas, Amanda Smith King,
Hi,
Dieter
Jeff.
Johnston, Bobby Leister. Leisterometer holding steady at 1,004. David Glass. Natalie Mayer, Stephen Kidder, Kerry Bump, Michelle Wilson-Hawkins.
Bump, de bump, bump.
K. New Year. What does Chris Conrad says about the Mars program is a ruse? They need to cover a story to develop space-based weapons.
Probably true. I mean, I'm not even saying like probably. There you go. You've got to have a reason to be up there. You got to wonder why SpaceX has 6 satellites up there right now. Why? Why are they there? 6. That's
Probably
a lot of channels.
Probably to help guide his space tourism crafts, so he can make gazillions of dollars.
I think I wonder what happens.
Although,
What happens when you take people into low orbit and then they crash on the way in? Is it just purely assumption of risk? Is everybody at that point
is it any different
than
the early days of aviation? Really, if you think about it,
I don't know. I mean, how do you and what happens if he lands on Detroit? I mean, does he have liability? It's the insurance agent in me. How does that guy? In theory, he takes off. We have liftoff. We have left the Earth's atmosphere, and then he comes in. And he says that's, one small step for man, one giant leap for my pocketbook, and everybody lands safely at the Kennedy Space Center. But what happens if he really lands in downtown Houston? I don't know. I don't know what happens.
Any different than a plane?
Well,
landing somewhere it's not supposed to.
Does he report to anybody? Does he have any FA? Does he have any training? Does anybody have any rocket pilot training? Is there a license you get to fly a rocket?
They're using legit astronauts.
Are they? From where?
Probably former NASA guys. When Obama defunded NASA, he basically destroyed it.
You're going up with Buzz Aldrin. He's 93 years old.
I'd go with Buzz.
Would you?
I don't know. I look at it from a historical perspective. I think it's kind of like the early pioneer days of aviation.
Well, you're very romantic like that.
We're seeing things that in 100 years it'll just be. Well, we're going to go up. We're going to slingshot over the North Pole, and we'll land in Moscow in 20 minutes. Think about that. People thought they'd never get across the country except on a train. Trey Molina, Funky's in. Scott Tomko, good morning.
We haven't had a really good argument in a while.
Andy Schneider, Adam Daughtry, Scott Tomko, focus, Brent, focus.
I am focused. Man, Scotty, I thought about you yesterday. Watch the Astros they just beat the Texas Rangers around the way the Rangers deserve to be slapped around. And
the Rangers thought they actually were somewhat legitimate until this weekend.
There was a game-long clinic on pitching. And if you think that you understand the game of baseball, go back and watch the replay of that game. And they've got Lance McCullers Jr. And he's talking about you don't want to do anything that unnaturally manipulates the baseball. He was talking about, everything's in the same slot. He goes, if your natural throwing motion is here, you want to throw the slider. If your natural throwing motion is here, you want to throw the curveball. And just to listen to these guys talk, and he talked about, and Mike Stanton was on the broadcast, and he talked about throwing the split finger, and they had all these little picture-in-a-picture with, I don't know if you watched it. McCullers showing how to hold balls and how he holds his change up, his circle change, and he holds his arm up, and there's a scar from here to here.
Yeah, you have the Tommy John.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, it's gnarly. It looks like somebody took a welding rod to his arm. And anyway, by the way, his arm doesn't look that much different than mine now that I look at that. I'm a few years older than old Lance. He pitched well yesterday. Guy gives us 6 innings and change, maybe 6 full innings, and they bring in some schmo who immediately, we're up 2-0. McCullers has pitched beautifully, and they bring in some reliever who very promptly tied it at 2. But the Astros ended up winning, I think. Yeah, they did. They poured on a bunch of runs and won like 6-2.
McCullers doesn't get the win.
No, he gets nothing out of it. But a nice video on the side.
Lisa Poole, good morning. Rob Moore Knipling, J. Mark Jameson.
Yeah, that is a nice thought. That's a free plug for Carrie Bump. If you need to get somebody to help you around the house a little bit, Carrie, she doesn't do like transmission overhauls, but she will overhaul the inside of your house and does beautiful work. Reach out to me. Tom Price, hello, sir.
Austin Hicks says he's at the health bar. Good morning to you.
Hey, get that. You start off easy, Austin. Get you a strawberry banana, but also get that waffle. They've got a gluten-free waffle there that's just phenomenal with this super light, homemade like whip. It's like whipped cream, but it's not bad for you. And then like sugar-free syrup. I can't tell you, it doesn't taste like cardboard to me at all.
James Kerr says it's all computer-guided systems that take you up into space. Tom Price, good morning. Ryan Hopping says Astros bullpen's worse than his Braves.
Yeah. No, that's true. The bully Paredes, that guy needs to go.
Who else did I see chiming in this morning? Checking in. Let's see. I think I had Bob Moore Knipling.
Paredes is so bad that they were saying, well, as long as the Astros are still up 4, it'll probably be Paredes. If not, they'll decide who. That's a true story. Trying to get 3 outs, you just run the odds.
Well, as long as we've been doing this show, that seems to be that's our lament with the Astros every year is the
bully. Well, but when you're paying for Garrett Cole, you're paying for Keuchel, you're paying for, Verlander. I'd take Keuchel back right now. Although Garcia and Urquidy,
I don't think our starting pitcher is a problem.
No, I agree. Remember when Keuchel used to come out just as predictable as the sun and give up like 5 hits in the first inning, and then he'd get some no hits. Yeah. Crazy.
Problem was you were down 5.
Yeah, give up bombs.
Yeah. Oh man.
We had some things to talk about.
We did, and we lost them. But
did you guys see where? Well, we'll talk about Bill Gates after the break, folks. Allen's Record Service 578-6300.
I don't know if Allen can pull Bill out of the ditch that he's quickly climbing himself down into.
No, Bill has gotten himself in trouble with his floppy disk. 578-6300. That's Allen's Record Service. If you have a go-to toe-to, that's them. Put AAAAA Allen's in your phone so that when you need them, when you're under stress, when you're a little anxious, maybe you're not thinking clearly, you've had a small fender bender, you bring up the first name in your phone book, it'll be Allen's Record Service, and they will take care of you.
578-6300.
The VCS companies, they don't need to be first in your phone book. They need to be the first one you go to for all of your communication needs. If you're a first responder, get on FirstNet.
Yeah, go over to the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer to ask about FirstNet. It's a dedicated network for first responders. This means that you will have a network if the systems go down. It's an AT&T provided network, and it's only for first responders. So you have an advantage over everybody else. You can stay in lines of communication when and if the world is ending.
Perfect. You'll see them on our sponsored banner. They are our banner sponsor, brought to you also by Compadres Design, as is all of our swag. My shirt, his hat, my cap, they're all from Compadres. Chesnick Furniture, 101 years, downtown Victoria.
116 West One Lynn. Bobby Leon has been doing absolutely phenomenal work, providing the furniture for everybody in Victoria for, well, the Chesnick family. The Chesnick store has been there
70 years at this location.
At this location, 101. Bobby hasn't been there 101, but he knows what he's doing.
Half of it. Bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding. You've got all kinds of best recliners, sofas, love seats, appliances, and
accoutrement.
It's beautiful. Reach out to them today. Veracruz back in business. You never know, folks. One day on a Friday, they may close the door and just never come back. Lee and I went to the Astros game yesterday, but they are back serving the best Mexican food.
Well, that's why they don't serve breakfast.
That's right. Oh, no, Ida sleeps till everybody's seated at lunch. Well, we also need to talk about Texas Coast Limo. You got the Project Tickle Pink coming up, and that's not till October.
Not till October, but it'll be here before you know it.
But now's a great time to reach out. You can dial 575-LIMO and ask for Bob Constantine, and Bob will help you get a table. And this is a who's who event. Everybody will be there. All the people you need to be around and want to be around, they will be there. Reach out to Bob Constantine and get a table for the Project Tickle Pink. It's a beautiful organization. Every dollar goes right back into just literally spoiling the recipients of the honors. It's a great event. And by the way, I don't know if I told you this. I know Cheryl's decorating.
Yes, she is.
The Gray Barn, 920-6803. Cheryl's decorating the event, and T-Lat is the hostess.
Nice.
So it's essentially we promote it.
They execute.
The ladies make it happen.
Exactly.
Yep. Cannot wait to see that. That'll cost me a new dress.
So answer me this question, because this one has been on my mind all weekend.
Should have called me.
Two questions actually. Three generations ago, the world was
flat,
rejoicing, patting itself on the back for finally providing a permanent home for
Israel,
for Jews and established Israel. And the persecution and death of Jews by Hitler,
right?
Stalin and forcing a bunch of them forever, and they had nowhere to go.
The UN, driven by the U.S., right?
How does the world in 80 years turn on Israel?
It's biblical, dude. It's in the book.
And how does Hamas, a terrorist organization, have sympathy from the media and from a whole bunch of people in this world? I just don't get it.
Anti-Semitism is alive and well. It is. Here's been my take on this for a long time. I don't preach on this program, but I'm here to tell you, some things are just so stark and they're so obvious that if you don't grasp, you've got to grasp them, or you just don't get it. There is no logical reason for anybody to hate the Jews other than
they're Jewish.
It's a part of God's plan. It's part of the plan. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, the fact that they are hunted down, herded up, persecuted, murdered should be proof to you that there's a God. Because why? What did the Jews do? Oh, they make the movies in Hollywood? I mean, come on. Why you want to kill them? Doesn't make any sense. There is a worldly innate hate for the Jews. It's just the way it is. It's biblical. The idea that Hamas, which is nothing more than a loosely organized terrorist organization.
I don't know if they're loosely organized.
Well, I mean, do they have a head? Do they have a guy? Is Yasser Arafat on life support somewhere?
My sense is they kind of filled the void after the PLO got legitimized by the rest of the world.
Right.
Another terrorist organization that we legitimized.
Right. The rest of the world also being basically terrorists. You look at it and you wonder how Hamas and the people in this country would march in protest or in support of the Palestinians is amazing. Palestine is not a country. Palestinians are not a race. It's just ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And our country, I'll just tell you, our country does not flourish in times when we are not in lockstep with Israel. Just telling you the truth.
I mean, we saw this coming. We talked about the stability in the Middle East, 3 peace deals brokered by President Trump and Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo, I don't think gets enough credit for what he did in the Middle East in securing the peace deals.
Pompeo and Trump did amazing things. Yes, for sure. Pompeo was fantastic.
James
I didn't like him at times.
Palestine is a place, not
yeah,
a place.
it's nor is it, but it's not a country either.
No.
To be a Palestinian is that's like saying you're a Houstonian, but now you're mad at the Jews. It's dumb.
Why do we legitimize Hamas?
Because the world hates the Jews. So you have to legitimize their enemies in order to support them. Joe Biden is going to be a guy that's going to claim he's going to broker some kind of peace.
He hasn't done. If there's anything that he hasn't undone of President Trump's,
I'm surprised.
That's it, right? He hasn't undone any of the peace accords.
He hasn't moved the embassy back to Tel Aviv.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't.
But here's a guy, if he can put Kamala in charge of the border and then deny that there's any problem at all, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear Joe Biden come on the news and go, people, come on. They've been fighting forever. This is just saber rattling. It's no big deal. We can do better.
And now the
Yeah.
media is crying that they were manipulated by the Israelis. We talked a little bit about it Friday, and more details came out over the weekend, how they used social media and others to get a bunch of Hamas terrorists into the tunnels right near the border and then bomb the crap out of the tunnels, use bunker busters to kill them all.
Yeah.
Right, or a bunch of them. They lined up tanks and troops on the border as details are starting to emerge, and then used the media and social media to threaten that they were going to go in and storm the Gaza and Hamas, right?
Right.
And it was a ploy to drive all the Hamas terrorists into the tunnels. And once they were there, they dropped a bunch of bunker bombs and
It's pretty cool.
such. Yeah. And now the media is claiming that they were played. That's what happens in wartime. That's what happens when you're absolutely blatantly against one side.
Israel
doesn't complain that they're a victim of the media.
No, Israel's through being a victim. And if you turn the Jews loose, they will take care of the Palestinians post haste. Steve Kidder says it's like saying you're a gypsy. There is no gypsy country. I'm going to tell you something. And this obviously he's a friend of ours and he's a sponsor of the show, but that type of common sense logic is what makes Steve Kidder so beneficial. If you have a dispute, if you have a contractual issue, if you have if you need to go to court, Stephen Kidder, the law offices of Stephen Kidder are there for you. And he employs that kind of logic. And guess what? I know our judges in Victoria County, they're like, yeah, that guy makes sense. I can listen to that. That's what you need. You need a guy that knows his way around the courtroom. You need a gentleman that knows how to deal with the judges that he's in front of. And you need somebody with some common sense. And that's why you call the law offices of Steve Kidder. James Kerr says people from Victoria were in Houston this weekend protesting Israel. Unbelievable that anyone in America can support Hamas. That's my deal. You know, you can say the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but how anybody could align with Hamas, who is just a terrorist organization. Yeah. If you're from Victoria and you went to Houston to protest against Israel this weekend, I'd love just to hear from you. I promise not to ambush you. I just want to hear the other side of their story. Like, what were you thinking? 575-9509. I'll give you the free airtime. I don't understand why you would go to Houston to protest Israel, who did nothing
but respond to an
attack. And Hamas is just a bunch of terrorists. Whether you like Israel or not, you can't support a bunch of terrorists just because they got a bunch of missils from Iran and started throwing them around. 575-9509.
And then the other thing over the weekend, well, that response was too much of a response by Israel for what Hamas had done.
They've been getting picked on for 3,500 years, man. I don't blame them. They want to end it quick. Peter McNally says this conflict won't go anywhere.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hi, Junior Samples. Yeah, I understand that. You know, Peter, I have to tell you, it says it won't go anywhere and it's killed children on both sides. You know, part of me on that, I don't know, man. It's kind of a wah. I mean, the Hamas for sure is hiding behind women and children and families.
That's the latest one over the weekend. Some reporter was crying that Israel bombed the building he was in and called it an affront to journalism.
Humanity. Oh, journalism.
And
why
they
are
were
you there?
The building was known by everybody to be a place where Hamas terrorists gathered and had offices. I didn't realize terrorist groups could have offices. They were there.
But I have to go a step further and say to Peter, who I respect and like dearly, but who is a flaming liberal nut job, says it won't go anywhere and it's killed children on both sides. Peter McNally is the same guy that would say, well, you know, a woman's right to choose. I mean, come on. It's you know, we abort millions of babies in this country and nobody's worried about those babies.
But that's the play of emotions.
Oh, but that's what it's all about.
Blame the Israelis. But war is hell.
Yeah,
bottom line.
Stuff happens.
But You don't think children are being, that's the thing. The media doesn't cover that. Hamas just sent in a bunch of missiles into Israel. They don't care where they land.
Children are starving to death at the Texas border. Children, if that one rancher hadn't found those 5 kids, there'd be 5 dead kids right here in South Texas, and nobody cares. Kamala Harris doesn't even care enough to come down here. So at least those kids are dying trying to be free. 2 perfect examples of the hypocrisy of the left: abortion running rampant and illegal aliens starving to death. But, let's worry about the kids. I can't believe the Israelis are bombing those Palestinians with them little kids. Wah.
They send missiles from schools and churches and hospitals. I mean,
and then when you get a bead on it, if you strike back at it, you know what? Have a siren, 30 minutes for taking that building out.
Yeah. But none of this was happening when President Trump was president.
Yeah. Funny how that gas prices through the roof. I can't just blame Biden for that, but didn't happen on Trump's watch. Inflation.
Well, but gas prices were low and oil field activity had pretty much stopped. So, I mean.
How much of that was the Democratic Congress and not Donald Trump? So you go, well, gas prices through the roof, inflation through the roof, trouble at the border, wars in the Middle East, Vlad Putin calling Joe Biden a punk, North Korea launching missiles again,
China doing what China wants to do without any fear,
war games off the coast of Japan. All this stuff comes
with
in.
Taiwan.
All this stuff comes in when you let the weak Biden administration back. Why Biden and Obama, man, apologists for our country.
And quietly over the weekend, and the media doesn't cover it yet. What was the media saying when President Trump said we're going to build walls? First, they scoffed at him because Mexico was going to pay for it, but everybody scoffed when anybody who took him seriously on that is a moron.
Right.
But when he started building walls, it was inhumane, right? Joe Biden over the weekend quietly tells him to start building walls again. The border fences are being erected.
Right.
Construction is restarting after we spent how many months? 3 months of inactivity, yet still paying people to sit around and not build the fences they were contracted to do. So we're wasting government money. Now that we've paid contractors for 3 months of idle time, you know that we're going to end up paying them now for the time they actually are working. But just quietly over the weekend, the media absolutely ignores it. The Biden administration has stopped or has started building the fences again along our border. So why was it a bad thing when President Trump was doing it, but they're absolutely quiet when Joe Biden as president starts doing it again?
Well, it is here. TLAC comes in with this comment that is spot on. It's everything Trump warned everyone about if Biden was elected. Think about it. He told you. Donald Trump said as soon as Creepy Joe gets in there, you're going to see inflation. You're going to see unrest in the Middle East. You're going to see Russia put his foot right on Joe's throat. All of these things have happened exactly as Donald Trump told you they would happen. Everybody's like, all the Democrats were like, oh, no, Joe's our guy. He was actually number 5, and Kamala was the first one out. But they are going to do great things because we were wrong then, but it feels so right now. The lunacy of a Biden presidency is going to haunt this country forever. The United States, as you knew it prior to the Obama administration, is gone. Never again. You've got a whole, see, you go all the way back to 2008. Is that when Obama first took office?
Yeah.
So see, those kids are 13 now. They're 13. They were raised in their most formative early years with Obama telling everybody in the world how sorry the United States was. We're sorry. We were imperialistic and we took advantage of people. And, oh, look what we've done to everybody. We're just so sorry. We're sorry we ended World War II. We're sorry we bombed Japan. We're sorry. Then you get Trump in there and everybody's taught that conservatism is arrogant and that it's unchristian, and that it's not right, and that we should all hate the orange man bad. And now you've got Joe Biden in there just taking dementia to new depths. And these kids are going to vote in the next election, and they don't know beans from peas.
And you know what's in, and they don't like either.
Right.
But you know what's interesting is Obama's been very quiet.
Because he's pulling all the strings.
Well, yeah, that's where I was going with this.
Thank you.
Because he was a guy that was very vocal about President Trump's presidency. Abnormally so. Presidents have usually not weighed in on the next president's endeavors, issues,
right,
style, stance. But he was very vocal. And now, since Joe Biden has become president, Obama has been very, very quiet because everything that Obama was doing is now being reintroduced and full force. And even Trump probably turned up to 11.
Well, you're 100% right.
Ratcheted up.
I hate to admit that, 100% right. But here's the deal. When Obama got elected, George W. Bush was very polite and said, I'm not going to have the transition that we had with Hillary and Bill.
And now we know why.
And because he's a Democrat. He said, I'm just gonna go off into the sunset and paint and write books and share my deep intellectual wit about strategery. And Bush then didn't say a word during the Obama administration. 8 years of not saying a word. But then all of a sudden he found his voice when a fellow Republican became president and began bad-mouthing Donald Trump, and then made it so obvious that he and his family would not be supporting the Republican candidate. He's back. He's back and he's mouthy. And I'm surprised he's honestly not just openly saying, hey, give Joe a chance. Really surprised.
He doesn't have to openly say it, he pretty much is.
He has done so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Speaking of another media cover-up, Bill Gates, a lot of stuff coming out over the weekend that Bill might have had affairs.
Is this news? I mean, Bill Gates is in his late 50s, early 60s. He's a billionaire. I mean, are any of you surprised to find out that Bill and Melinda Gates maybe spent months in opposite parts of their 25,000 square foot house, and that he might every now and then have tried to utilize a hard drive with a clerk at Microsoft? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why this is news.
No, but I'm pointing out the hypocrisy, because it was news if it happened in President Trump's past life. But when it's a media darling, someone that they love and care about.
Yeah. Perpetual teenager. He's kind of like, what was the guy's name? The guy that used to do the New Year's Eve
Dick
deal?
Clark?
Dick Clark. That's what Bill Gates is like. Kind of like a cross between Dick Clark and Gilligan. He kind of has that floppy hair, but he's youthful.
But the media completely ignores. This is a guy who they give, he's a computer science guy, but he's also a vaccine expert. The media has no problem just allowing him to be a vaccine expert because he has money and he donates.
Guarantee he backed Fauci. I guarantee he had money involved. He has skin in this game, people. It's going to come out. And his wife, whether she knew or didn't know, or she could be an alien or a man like Michelle Obama, I don't know. We don't know all the nuances of these people. Maybe they drink vampire blood. You don't know. These people are on a different playing field. You're going to find out at some point that she wants distance from whatever Bill.
Well, she started distancing herself when it turned out Bill Gates was buddies with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep. Zach Smith, yes, the generals. Soon. We know. Atzenhofer dealership since 1926. Atzenhofer.com. Good place for you to find brand new Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Chevrolet. Built the dealership selling $500 cars. Think about it, people. Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
Trucks weren't even around then.
Just down the road from higher prices. Everybody drives a used car right there on the Navarro Motor Mile. All their cars were built on Tuesday. What else has Tommy told us?
Pretty much. There's probably a couple others.
Atzenhofer for all your sales and service, all your makes and models, all your paint and body shop. They do it all. White Trash Services, 550-1826. White Trash Services, daily, weekly, monthly trash service, whether you need a trash can picked up just like you used to right here in the city, or if you need a roll-off dumpster for a huge project. 550-1826. Reach out to BJ Nelson, Scott Nelson, Carl, their team. They'll take care of you. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his family of computer geniuses. How do you think we got to 1,000 YouTubers? Ain't nobody watching us on YouTube, people.
No, actually, there are.
That's the Russians. 1,004. Reach out to JP Hull and the great folks at Razor IT Solutions. And then, of course, we already mentioned it.
3 of them saying hi this morning.
There you go. Scott Snow.
4 watching on YouTube. We're hitting an all-time high.
There you go. Hey, appreciate y'all. I'm going to try to get us a better video input for YouTube. And that would help. It'd be more like a podcast. Funky Trey Molina says, let's talk hockey. We will. The playoffs begin. We've already talked about Complete 360. Get by there. Let me just go ahead and wrap this up for you.
Sure.
Motto Mortgage, Terry Murray, 541-5454.
She is your mortgage personal shopper. She can take your situation. She'll do all the legwork for you. You don't have to do anything but just visit with Terry via phone, in person, email. Tell her what you're looking for. She'll do all the work for you and provide you the best offer she can.
Sheriff Louderback checking in. He's a little late. I wonder if he was like schlepping around with those guys at Fox.
He's probably busy trying to pick up all the shells that were spent from Cheryl and Ashton taking their LTC and
wow, good for them.
Weekend.
Do they pass?
Yes.
Good for them. Folks, Went Services, whether you need generators, solar panels, general electrical work, you're doing a remodel, a new home, you have plumbing, you have emergency plumbing, you get the picture. Went Services, they'll solve all of your service needs. USA Concrete Coatings, 578 Home. Charlie Garcia and his crew will put down a polyurethane coat in your garage, pool deck, patio
4 times
porch,
stronger than anything else in the market.
even stronger than stainless steel. And it's not near as slick, won't stick to your
Nope.
tires, won't crack, peel, fade, antimicrobial, antibacterial, and
Won't
good,
chip, won't crack.
and good for kids. Let me tell you, our sponsorship, we brag about it here often, simply the best of the best. Everybody we mention every day is the best in this region at what they do. And we're very, very fortunate to have them support us.
We are.
Yep.
So Bob Baffert last week.
A cheater,
Well-
horse race cheater.
Turns out there was a
Mistake?
perfectly allowable ointment that he was using on his horse because the horse had some skin issues.
Absorbing Junior.
Kind of close, yeah.
Oh, no, Neosporin.
Yeah, maybe. It had betamethasone or something. It does have a little trace of, but they found 12 picograms. Picograms, maybe.
On the Spanish channel,
On-
call it pico.
yeah, on the
They
horse.
were picograms.
On the horse.
Sure.
Or that was what was showed up in the test, right?
Okay.
Rubbing this on the horse's hind end. I wouldn't want that job. You know, that's the junior trainer that takes
That's what I feel like working with you
Yeah.
every day.
I know. Trust me. Stand next
I'm
to
the
me
guy
every
with the big scoop behind the elephant. That's me.
day. You carry the bag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a tough duty, isn't it? No duty. Man, I made a funny.
Made a funny,
it's a
nice
tough
pun.
duty.
You're punny.
What do you call it when the elephant doesn't get enough fiber? Tough duty. All right. Enough about me. Let's talk about
Wet
you.
and runny.
Right. Anyway. I got that's James Kerr doing
Yeah.
a laugh. You know that.
So
Or Zach.
so anyway, 12 picograms.
Pico.
Ask me how many picograms in a gram. Just kind of put this in perspective.
Like 10,000?
A billion.
A billion.
There's 12 zeros in a picogram to get to a gram.
So that it's not
They
like
found
this horse
12
was.
No, 12 picograms on this horse.
So Baffert's totally.
That's kind of where I'm going with this. Yeah, it pretty much seems like it.
He made it sound like. Now here's the deal, folks.
Well, he even said I kind of jumped the gun on this. I was mad. I was angry, being accused of cheating. I probably didn't go into the media and do this the way I should have.
Well, fair enough, but in the same breath that I tell you that I don't think a guy like Bob Baffert has to cheat to win. I mean, he's always got the best animals and he's the best trainer. In the same breath, like if I told you, hey, Ash, any of your baseball players test positive in any way for anything that's got heroin in it and they're off the field, are you going to probably have somebody check the ointment that you're putting on that kid's elbow to make sure it doesn't have just a little picogram of heroin in it. I mean, I don't understand how you do that for a living and let something slide by that could implicate you.
He says the ointment's approved for use in the way that it was used.
Oh, there you go.
So, but anyway.
BJ Nelson's talking about the duck pond.
Medina Spirit, by the way, did not win the Preakness. Finished third.
No.
Started fast, faded, finished third.
And that's the Horse Racing Minute, brought to you by the NHL Hockey Playoffs.
Speaking of which, playoffs started this weekend. 3 of the first 4 games went to overtime, but the best of the bunch was the one that didn't. Florida, Tampa Bay last night. Great game. Tampa won at 5.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did.
The whole game?
Almost.
What was that, like half a bottle of Crown?
Not on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, just a third.
Just a third.
There you go. So, well, yeah, I am perplexed, folks, about what the other shoe is going to be about Bill Gates. I don't know if this is mostly a ploy by his wife. I mean, her attorney could be putting these things out there to kind of just to give you an idea. If you go to Twitter and bring up Bill Gates, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. He's got like 47 million followers. And if you bring up Melinda Gates, she's got like 7. So of the people that follow Bill Gates, the vast majority don't even bother to follow his wife.
No.
You know, so he is exponentially more popular than his bride. So I could see her attorneys wanting to really, because a lot of people are going to be like, what did she do? He's Bill Gates. I mean, she's not the one that invented Microsoft. I mean, if I were him, I would try to settle this deal quietly, give her what she wants. And I mean, they've been bragging about giving away their money for it. Yeah, give her half and let her go.
Yeah, there aren't too many people that care about Bill Gates. From any
Right.
people that I know that work for Microsoft say he is a vile, evil man. And what we know of him is not even close to the real Bill Gates. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Trey Molina did watch the hockey playoffs this weekend. So
There you go.
I'm converting South Texas one person at a time. Found it interesting that New Hampshire is doing an audit that's kind of fallen under the radar or off the radar. I guess would probably be the proper term, off the radar,
Right.
right?
Off the radar, sure, off the screen.
Off the screen. But New Hampshire is doing an election recall or audit involving software that was not manufactured by Dominion. Another company was involved in the manufacture and production of it, but they no longer exist because they were absorbed by the Dominion software. But what happened, and this affects Democrats. On election day, a candidate for, I think, House Representative lost by 24 votes.
Right.
So that triggered a recount. When they start doing the recount, they find out that this person lost by over 400 votes.
We'll do that over Trump's votes to see what happens.
And so that's got folks in New Hampshire a little bit concerned, and they called for a forensic audit. And New Hampshire is a small state, and it's kind of gone under the radar, but shouldn't that concern you? That the software that we're supposed to trust in running our elections and tabulating the votes had her losing by 24. When they actually do a recount, the gap is 400, and I don't know if that would have been enough in New Hampshire to trigger a recount anyway. But one of those is not correct. So now they're doing a forensic audit to figure out which number is the correct one. The 400 missed the 400 vote loss or the 24 vote loss. And then you've got Dems and others, even Republicans around the country, crying about a forensic audit. Well, this will undermine our system. Well, no, it'll only undermine our system if we find out the system is screwed up and flawed and being manipulated. If it actually does what a forensic audit is supposed to do, and back up the results and find no issues, what do you have to lose? Why are you so against it?
So when you're going to see the Dems switch gears and begin to support this is when they also have the solution. And the solution is going to be federally standardized voting. And the
HR1, right?
And the feds are going to take, you see what's right there? I want to read that. BJ Nelson's talking about different taxes and stuff. She says that's a franchise tax and that's a state tax. The franchise fee is the fee Suddenly, Waste Management, and others pay to the city for the exclusive right to serve the city of Victoria. I'm going to tell you that Victorians would benefit from a lack of the exclusive right of anybody to serve Victoria. An open, unfettered marketplace would make all of our trash collection, for example, become more affordable. And the reality is, no matter if Waste Management pays 15 cents out of every dollar back to the city or not, it's still our money. And it's our money plus a handling fee to get it back to the city of Victoria. The mordida that Waste Management pays the city of Victoria for the exclusive right to handle our trash collection is coming out of our pockets. Why not leave the money in our pockets and let us choose who picks up our garbage? Makes sense to me.
Wow, they have a toll on our streets.
That's such bull. Do they charge FedEx? Do they charge UPS?
No.
Does the Postal Service, is that part of our stamp? Do they pay money back to the city for the streets?
They don't charge the trucks that come through
It's
town.
all ridiculousness, and people fall for it. It's wrong.
Want to end on a lighter note? You think you could take a grizzly bear?
With a peanut butter sandwich. Look, you see, James Kerr says, don't. What about? Look, it was funny, actually. There's a little Bill Gates thing there. Don't trust software. It's a tool. You just keep talking about Bill Gates, don't you? Yeah. Microsoft. That's not,
Yeah. You think you can take a grizzly bear?
No.
Probably the right answer.
What happened? Some guy tried to?
No, but there's a poll out there. 6% of Americans think that unarmed they could take down a grizzly bear.
When the grizzly bear stands up, he's like 8 feet tall and weighs like 1,400 pounds. No, you're not taking him down.
Walk into a Bass Pro or Cabela's where they have this thing stuffed.
They're just amazingly huge.
No, there's an interesting survey, and let me try to. I got to take a while stuff to find this, but there's a whole bunch of things that Americans think they could take.
Ricky King says that's not how the city works. And you know what I said to that, Ricky? They had their chance. Daddy could have helped them.
72% of Americans think they could take down a rat.
Okay, I could take
most Americans I know are running away from the rat.
I would kick the rat. Drop kick.
69% think they could take a house cat in a fight.
Man, I don't know did you remember that video I sent you? That guy goes, this little guy's up for adoption. All of a sudden he goes around and bites him in the groin. It's great.
I saw a video over the weekend of some guy trying to get a possum out of it. It had kind of gotten into his house and was up in its couch, sofa, love seat, Chesterfield for the Canadians that are listening.
Accoutrement. Eating accoutrement.
This guy basically tore apart his sofa to try to get this possum out. Couldn't do it. He was afraid. He's throwing a broom towards it. He's crying, squealing. They call the police in. Police goes, that's just a little possum.
Picks it up.
Pretty much. Put it on the broom and took it out the door. That was it. But anyway, 61% of Americans think they could take a goose in a fight.
A goose is a very aggressive animal, and it will headbutt you. A goose is very aggressive, and they're mean and they're dumb. So you kick them, you make them matter.
Yeah, Trey Molina says he can't take a scorpion in his boots, let alone a bear.
Trey, thanks for the compliment. What else you got?
49% of Americans, so about 50%, say they could probably take on a medium-sized dog if they had to, if their life depended on it.
Yeah, I think it would break my heart, but I think you'd have to hit it in the mouth, and then it's going to really hurt your hands. And then you'd have to get it in a chokehold of some type.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it's tough, right? You've been bitten up by dogs. When a dog bites you, folks, it hurts. It hurts so much to get bit.
14% of Americans think they could take a kangaroo.
Chris Conrad called a goose a cobra chicken.
It is.
It's a cobra chicken.
Yes.
That's really funny. Cobra
Adam
chicken.
Daughtry says battle of grizzly bear for city council. Winner wins.
Right. It's all in.
Bunch of grizzlies sitting on city council every second Tuesday. But 6% of Americans think they could take a grizzly bear.
They're dumb. With what? Unarmed?
Unarmed.
You can put your thumb in his eye?
8% think they could take on a lion and win.
Dumb.
8% think they could take on an elephant and win.
Dumber.
These Americans have not been, either they are a product of our public education K through 12, or they're not a product of our public education K through 12. Or they have never obviously seen Mutual Omaha, Wild Kingdom.
Yeah. What does they got? While Jim restrains the beast, I discount the theory of virginity to the native girls.
Oh, man.
Marlon Perkins,
Yeah.
he's always like having tea with the tribal leader while
Yeah.
Jim's out there. Look at Jim with that 18-foot anaconda. He's doing a fine job. Thanks, Marlon.
Look, he's hugging the anaconda.
Yeah.
It's wrapped around him.
Jim's all purple.
Oh, they're synchronized swimming now.
Oh, while the alligator has Jim in the death roll, I sip tea with the tribal leader.
Oh, let's see. I think crocodiles in those. 9% of Americans think they could take a crocodile on and
Stupid.
win.
Stupid.
Yeah. But the good thing is Americans aren't so smart or aren't so sure when it comes to a large dog. Half think we can win against a medium dog. 58% say they're not so sure. They are sure they would lose if it came to fighting a large dog.
Andy Schneider says, I can take down 1 million mosquitoes with my truck. Man. Is there anything really more disturbing than like you see a mosquito land on you and you squash it and there's blood? And you're like, dude, where's he been?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
feel violated.
your blood.
You feel violated.
Adam Sugar says he'd fight a wild animal with knives. Yeah, but these aren't knives. That gives you an advantage.
Well, Adam, you're a
Mano a mano, Adam. Mano a mano.
Yeah, it's like you trying
Mano
to
a
fight.
barrow. Mano a barrow.
Like you trying to fight Caleb Shaw. You know Caleb will whoop you around. Come on.
I don't know about that.
No. Brother Gary just said, I don't know about that.
They're both good boys.
I don't know. They're both good boys, but Adam's got the well, Adam's got two things going for him. Or in this case, they're going for him. He's a little starry-eyed and he's bigger. I can hear Caleb. Well, what I'm going to do is just treat Adam like he's a tax. He's a tax, and I'm just going to attack the tax. And Adam's like, whoa, okay. I'm going to have to hit you now. It's going to hurt. Yeah.
Chris Conrad says, can we round up all these people and make them prove it? Not only that, let's make it pay-per-view, and all the money raised can go to fix all our social ills in this country.
There you
I
go.
bet you we would raise enough to do it.
Hey, we're going to get out of
We
here
are.
unless you have one more point because
Well,
the
this-
Hall of Famer.
this man did think he could wrestle an alligator and won to save his 8-year-old lab or 8-month-old
Yes,
lab.
I
You
saw he
this?
went into the water. The wasn't a big alligator, but it had this Labrador, and the man just goes, no, 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 and went in and got his dog.
Yeah.
That's heart.
The dog got
The
pretty
dog's
beat up,
still, man, that dog's got some, when they do surgery on a dog, Brother Gary, it's got like no skin there, and this dog's got about 8 places like that.
Yeah.
That gator got his attention. I bet you old Rover doesn't go down to the lake anymore.
The gator
Like-
pulled him into the water. You said that was it.
You throw the little thing out there, go get it, boy, go get it. Sweet. That dog's like, no, I'm not going. Crazy.
And he got bit too.
He got bit. That's true love.
Yeah.
See that dog hurt.
No greater love hath a man than lay down his life for his Labrador.
That's right.
But he says he remembered what he had read about alligators, or he wouldn't have been able to respond.
What did he
as quickly as
read?
could.
Does he tell us?
But no, he's not giving up his secrets. But he jumped in the water immediately, got his dog out of the death roll and everything.
Folks, do me a favor. Be thinking of things we can talk about tomorrow. Ash is going to be gone. I'm nowhere near as good without Ash. I admit it readily. And he always, Adam Sugar says a little starry-eyed. Yeah, you are, Adam. I mean, don't wait for me in the parking lot, please. I'm seeing you after
You
school.
can go out the back door.
That's Adam. That's Adam like the 6th grade to a freshman in high school. I'm seeing you after school.
I don't want to mess with him.
I've been dating your mom, and I'm going to whip you. So, look, stay tuned. Hall of Fame.